Welcome, welcome. Dawn Duvall, coming to you from cloudy, stormy Villages, Florida. Let me get the comments coming on. Give me 1 second and let me get those signed on so that I can see them. How's everybody doing this evening? And we'll wait a few minutes for people to come on so we can start. Make sure that you comment when you arrive. That would be great. So, what has everybody been up to? Today has been a busy day. Yesterday, I was working on my online or to-go, class to go, plus it's online, obviously, because you'll have videos and tutorials. It's my first holiday class that I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to do 4 months so that everybody has enough holiday cards to get them through for the holidays. And I was working on getting my sales page together and all the pages, you know, and I got done. I was so excited with myself. Hey, Faye and Denise and Chris, how is everybody? So I was trying to get this this holiday card class together, and I went to publish it, and it came up with this error, and I couldn't figure out how to fix the daggone error. So, of course, it was late yesterday afternoon, so I emailed the company that I use their program. And the guy I just got an email about 45 minutes ago. The guy was nice enough to do a little video for me to show me how to fix and get rid of whatever the issue was that wouldn't allow me to publish it. And it only took me like 30 seconds to do it. And I really wanted to have it done today so I could put it in my newsletter. So now I guess I'll just be sending it out to everybody in a separate email. So hopefully people don't get too frustrated. But anyways, I'm excited. Every year I do an in-person class. We do in-person, you know, back in those days when we could do things together. So I'd always start in August, and we do cards from August, September, October, and November. So I thought, well, this is a good way to offer it. You know, you can either use your own stamp sets or you can buy the one that I'm using. I think next month I'm going to do one with no stamping. So we're going to see how that goes. I think I should be able to punch everything that we're going to use, and I can also punch out some words. So I'm thinking that might be another way that I can get around that as far as having a stamp set. So I thought that'd be pretty good. Linda Carver, your name was drawn from last week. Woohoo! So you get the cards that we made, which was the that wavy card that looked like kind of a psychedelic thing, and then the card that had the different opening. So I probably have your address, but if you don't mind, just message me with your mailing address, and I will get that out in the mail to you either tomorrow or Thursday. So anyway, so that took me all day. So that threw me off yesterday from trying to get that done. Then today I spent working on my getting my newsletter together, and then I was working on this candy card. It is so much fun. You guys are just going to love it. And it's the only thing I'm doing tonight because I think it's going to take probably a good, by the time I talk, you know how that goes. Those that know me know I like to talk. So by the time I walk through everybody on how to do it and the dimensions and all that mess, I think it's probably going to take us a good 45 minutes. So if that's the case, then we'll be done early. But I just want you to know I'm only doing the one project, and I'll show you here in just a few minutes. We'll just give it a couple more minutes to let others pop in. It's 3 after 7, so let's we'll wait another 30 seconds or so. And hey, Debbie, then we'll get started. So make sure that you share my video if you haven't already. It helps me to reach out to other people in the crafting world that may be interested in learning how to stamp or already know how to stamp but want to find some other ideas. And that also ultimately helps me build my business, which I'm trying to do obviously online. For those of you that don't know me, I've been doing this since I joined in 2011, like everyone else. Just did it to get a discount, and I was so stressed out in my job that this was like a major therapy experience for me. Then after about 8 months of paying the lady I joined under, I went to, you know, a monthly club where you had to, you know, order $25 worth of product. And I did that after 8 months, and I thought, you know what, I should join and get a discount instead of paying somebody else, and that's what I did. And I didn't I held a couple of classes, and then we moved to the Villages in 2012, And I thought, what a better way to meet people. So I started teaching at one of the rec centers and have been doing that up until the COVID thing. So, and I also held classes at my house when I wanted to have, if it was a smaller group or whatever. So, okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Enough of me yakking. Oh yeah, that's fine, Linda. Get it to me just whenever. I'm sorry, I'm jumping around. Okay, let me flip the camera around. We're going to work with there we go. We're going to work with, believe it or not, making it a candy card. Nothing's better than a stamp set and the die. So we're going to use this as well. And we're working with the Plaid Tidings. This is in the holiday catalog. If y'all haven't seen this paper, some of it is, a lot of it can be holiday, but look at these different, now that's holiday to me. That's kind of like more of a pumpkin, like a fall. And there's some in here that could probably be used for like Halloween. There's purple if you put that with black. But there's some really neat colors in here. So it's not going to all be, that would be a cute one for the holidays with some blue. That would be kind of a wintry color. So anyways, this you can use, I would think if you buy this pack, they're $11.50 and you get 48 sheets. So I think this would be a great set that you could have and use all year round, actually. Okay, so here is the card that we're making. Now, the one that I'm going to make is a different color, but look at this. Isn't this precious? Look, can you see? I'm going to get close. Can you see the chocolate squares of my card? I hope you can see that. I know it's dark. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. I know it's dark and I'm hoping the light will show. If it's hard to see, let me know and I'll put another light behind me if you think that will help. So this is what we're going to make, and it's easy once you do it. I did 2, so once you do it, but I thought it might take a little bit of time. And then this pull string right here is where we pull out and write our message. So isn't that precious? I just think this is the cutest thing. And I found this, and here's the crazy thing. I found this, and I don't even know where I saw it, to be honest with you. I wrote the girl's name. It was Carrie's, K-A-R-I''S, creative with a K, but there wasn't anything after that, or at least I didn't see it. And she had done a video, and I didn't write down the daggone name, so I went back, and what do you think I did 3 days ago? I cleaned out my history and cookies. So I can't even find the video, and I've searched her name and went on YouTube and searched it, and I don't see it, but I copied this from another person. So anyways, so that's what we're going to be making. So tell me if you can't really see, with it being early espresso, this might create a little bit of a problem and you all trying to see. So if I need some light behind me, let me know and I'll put one up. So let's go ahead and get started on making this card. This is so cute, and I'm going to give you the directions. So if you have pen and paper, if not, you can come back and watch it again and write down the directions. Oh, and here's the envelope. Here's the envelope that I decorated. So isn't that going to be cute when you send that to somebody? You got chocolate. I stamped this one in early espresso, and then of course you can see I didn't get it even, but that's all right. It could be white chocolate on dark, and I stamped off once and then stamped that. But isn't that cute? Oh, I think that's just going to be the cutest little card. So, okay, so let's get, you can tell I'm excited. I'm going to be making these all the time. You can see it okay? Okay, good, perfect. All right, so we are going to start with a piece of, I have to get my notes here. Okay, so we're going to start, let me flip it over because I got 2 pages. All right, we're going to cut this down. So your cardstock is going to be at 5.5 by 6.5, okay? So let me open up my arm here, and I'm going to cut this to 6.5, and then we'll go from there on the next step. Okay, so 5.5 by 6.5. Keep this because we're going to use that. All right, now this piece here, we're going to score it. So we're going to move this blade down. Can you see? Okay, we're going to score this at 3 and 6 inches. All right, so we're going to come to 6, which is going to be like a 1/2 inch, right? So we're going to score this this is going to be a tab. So we're going to be making our little folder for our card. And then we're going to move it to 3 inches. So it's 3, score at 3 and 6, okay? So we're going to score this at 3. All right, so we're going to set this card aside for now, all right? And I'm going to close my arm so it gives me a little bit more room. All right, now this little piece here, this is 2 by 5.5, right? So we're going to cut this in half. we're going to cut this at 1 inch. So we'll have 2 of these, all right? So we're going to place this in the track here. And let me make sure I've got it lined up. So this is the piece that you just cut off that 5.5 by 8.5. And then I cut it down to 5.5 by 6.5. So this is our 2-inch piece. We're going to cut this down to 1 inch, all right? Now, on both of these, what we're going to do, this is how we're going to make our chocolate squares. We're going to take these and we're going to cut 3 1-inch squares, okay? Now, I've got my 1-inch mark here, so I think I'll line that one up right there. Hopefully it doesn't confuse me. So we're going to do 3 1-inch squares, okay? So there's 1. We're going to do a total of 6 because we're going to cut off both of them, but each one. So anyways, all right, so there's 1 that we're going to do. We got 1 inch. All right, here's our second one. And then I'm going to do 1 more at 1 inch, okay? Now, let me move these out of the way because these are our little chocolate pieces. So let's put those over here. Now this piece here, we're going to turn it and we're going to cut it down to 3/4. So we want 3/4 here, all right? So I'm going to move this over on the right hand of the trimmer. And I'm going to hold that. Hopefully it doesn't move. I'm going to hold that place. And then we're going to cut this down, okay? Now we're going to turn this and we're going to cut 3 3/4 inch squares, okay? So we're going to make this 3/4 of an inch and we'll get 3 of those out of here. So let me line this up at 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to hold it down. Such a small piece. So there's one of our chocolate pieces. And then we're going to move it over to 3/4 again. And this is what I said, it might take a little time because you just got to get all this stuff. All right, we'll hold that. And then we'll have 1 more 3/4 of an inch. So let me get that in there. That one goes right there. So we're just going to have a little tiny piece cut off. All right, so there's our 3 1-inch squares and 3 3/4 inch squares. And we're going to do the same thing to this one. Now I could have cut them both at the same time, but I didn't. All right, so we're going to start out with, again, this is the 1 inch by 5.5. So we're going to line this up at 1 inch. Let me get it lined up to my corner, to my line there. Okay, because it, which is fine. All right, so there's our 1. So we're going to cut 3 of these again. So we've got another 1 inch. And really, I did another one. Once I did the first one, that one took me a long time. But once I got into the second one, it wasn't quite as bad. Because I was just nervous. I thought, I need to do this again to make sure I know what in the world I'm doing. All right, hang on. I'm trying to get my 1 inch lined up. Sorry about that. All right, so there's our second one. And then we're going to cut 1 more 1 inch. And get that there. Okay, so we got those 3 inches there. All right, move those over. All right, we're going to turn this around again. And we're going to cut 3/4 of an inch. So let's cut this down. Move my blade up. Let me hold that in place. Hopefully it doesn't shift. All right, so we cut that little piece off. Do y'all have problems moving stuff off your off this trimmer? I swear, I have a hard time trying to get it to move. It won't slide. Okay, so now we're going to do 3 3/4. Whoops. Hang on a minute. I don't want my 3/4 getting too big because then my chocolate piece is going to be a little out of whack. Okay, so we got that up there. So there's a 3/4 of an inch. Move that off. Move this one over to 3/4. Get my little fingers out of the way. Let me see. Make sure it's 3/4. Yep. And that one. And then we're just going to cut a little sliver off of this one. So this will be at 3/4. Don't you think this would, I mean, not only for adults, you know, or anybody, but just think if you send this to a child. What do you think? And then you put some money on the inside. Don't you think they would love that? Oh my gosh. Did I cut that? Hang on. I didn't see a little piece come off, so let me just double check. Hold on. Oh, there it is. It was hidden. Okay. All right, so we actually have 6 of the 1 inch squares, and we have 6 of the 3/4 inch squares. Okay, so now we're moving on. Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't even think about that, using a piece of a Post-it note to hold it together. All right, so I'm going to pull in my my base. So I'm going to fold this flap, because this we're going to create, you'll see in a minute here. So we're going to go ahead and fold this, and then I'm going to fold my 3-inch spot there, and I'm going to burnish that real good. Okay, so this is what's going to be our, this is what we're going to use as our base for our chocolate bar, okay? All right, so, all right, welcome those of you that are joining. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, now this is something that I did just to we're going to line up our squares right here to make it look like our candy bar. And for those that are just joining, just to show you real quick, this is what we're making, this candy bar. And it's a card, okay? So that's what we're doing. All right, so what I did was I turned my card. So I just came down because I was having a problem trying to get my squares straight. And I'm not really that particular, but in this particular case, I thought I needed to be because I didn't want my candy squares to look cattywampus. So all I'm doing is I'm going to mark this a little, like one, not even 1/8 of an inch, just a little bit less than 1/8, 1 inch. And I'm just going to make a little mark so I know where I want my squares. I don't want them to go below that, okay? So I'm just going to make a little mark right there. And then I'm going to come down because we're going to do 2 rows. So I'm going to do the same thing right here just so that I'll know. And that way it will help me. And we'll do, let's see, one. Let me get this one next to that one. And we'll just stick a little mark right there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our squares. And we've got 3 of them. So we're going to line them up. And you're going to butt it right up. Let me see if I can zoom in. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can get this down. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to butt it. I'm going to leave a little tiny bit. Let me pull this up. I'm going to leave a little, maybe 1/8 of an inch at the top. So it's not going to go all the way to the top. And I know it's dark. I was thinking I should try to do this on white to make it look like it was white chocolate. But there's going to be like a thumbnail, like just a little tiny sliver so that you'll see. And once we put this together, you'll see. All right, so I'm going to butt that one up there, and then I'm going to take the next 2, and we're going to put them right next to each other, and they're going to be butted together so that they fit on the card. Now, if you've got, if a little bit's hanging over, then I just trimmed it off. Okay, so I've got it right up to the score line, and then right there. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive. And this is the first card that I did. This is where I had the issue because one of my squares wasn't on very well, and I pulled it up, and of course, you know what happens, it ripped, right? So I'm going to go ahead and line this up right here and just leaving a little bit at the top. And that's my line. You're not going to see it. So we're just going to butt these squares right up to each other. So let's just get some adhesive on here, and we'll lay this one down. And again, we're going to keep them right next to each other. I'm trying to do this without getting my head in the screen. That's why I drew that little line, because I thought it would be a little bit more helpful. This is just such a fun card. It's a little time consuming, but it's okay, because we got lots of time right now, right? Unless some of you are one of the important people that are working, like nurses and firefighters and all that stuff, and policemen and all that. Okay, so if you see, and you probably can't, I've got a little bit hanging over here. I'm just going to trim that off with my scissors. I didn't want it to affect the bend right here, okay? So I'm going to trim that, and I tried to get them straight. So I'm just going to take my snips, and I'm just going to trim that off. No one's going to know the difference, okay? All right, now we're going to come down, whoopsie, and we're going to do our second batch, there's my line, right? So I'm just going to lay that one right there. And again, we're just going to build our 3 candy squares. So we'll put some Tombow on this. And then we'll put, my dog is wagging her tail. I'm not sure what she's excited about, but she is. Okay, so we're going to leave a little bit of a space, and then we're going to come back and attach our squares to this. And sometimes, when you're cutting your paper, sometimes, it comes off just depending on how you put it in the trimmer. Sometimes it just can be off just a tad, it's not a problem. Now this one I'm going to have to slide. Let me see if I can move him down just a bit. But, I'm not going to get too, now see this one, let me see if I can turn it this way. Maybe for some reason it looks better. Yep, okay. All right, so we got those butted up. Let me move him down just a tad. Try to get this one down just a little bit. Okay. So there we have our chocolate squares. Again, I'm going to cut this off. I'm not sure why this one has excess hanging over, but that's all right. We're just going to get rid of that. Okay. All right. So that's that. Now, the next step that we're going to do before we do anything, we're going to take and just rub these down and take your thumbnail, or you can take your stylus, if you will, if you've got the thin one, and just kind of rub along each of the edges. And it's just going to give it a little bit like a little indentation to try to make it look like, and of course I can't do it with my, let me see if I can do it with my ruler here. We just want to give it like a little push down so it looks like it's giving you some dimension there. And we'll just do that along each side. We're going to come back and when we add the other ones, we'll probably be able to do it better. So, all right, so we've got that done. Now we are going to take our early espresso or whatever color cardstock you're using, just use coordinating marker. And we're going to use the fine tip. So what we're going to do is we're going to make X's on the card so that you'll see these little X's down in the bottom. You know how the candy bars, when they come together, they've got a little X in the corner? So I tried to go, but since my squares aren't exactly lined up, I'm just doing, this is the tedious part. I'm just going to draw a line, and I probably should, we're just going to draw a line from corner to corner on each of the big squares, okay? And I don't care about the middle. I mainly want it on the ends so that we see that, okay? So I'm just going to go across and do these diagonal from corner to corner. And again, I'm not too concerned about the middle. Oops, I didn't get that one straight, did I? I'm not too concerned about the middle because that's going to be hidden with our next layer. But we just want to go ahead and line up our corners. And those of you that are perfectionists, I know it probably drives you crazy because I tend to, you know, whatever. And that part right there is going to be hidden, so that's okay. So let me go ahead and do this this row. So we're going to take this corner to that corner. And the one thing about the espresso, you know, we could have done crumb cake and made it look like a caramel. It's extremely dark, right? So you have a hard time seeing when you're got the light and you don't have your head in the way. So, yeah, but that's all right. We'll just do the best we can. And then this one, we'll just draw it. And I know you're just watching me and listening to me ramble on. So, all right, so we're going to draw a diagonal there. Now we're going to just come back and do the opposites, right? So we just want to come back and do these. And then when I get done, you will see why we're doing this. So there's that. And, you know, when you look at a candy bar, I'm trying to see because it's, you know, it's when they come together, it looks like they have these little X's at the bottom. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to create that effect. And let's see. Okay, so there's that one. And then we'll just do these again real quick. All right. My dog's gotten really, I hear her over there. I don't know what she's doing. Okay. All right. So there we've got our squares. And we've got the X's. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we need our black dimensionals because we don't want the white ones to be seen, right? So we're going to take these little guys and we're going to pop these up on dimensionals. So let's spread these out. And this is going to be our next, these are the 3/4 inch squares, okay? So we're going to put a black dimensional on the back of each one of these. See, this is why I was saying it's a little tedious when you've, whoops, I just pulled one of the backings off, but that's all right. Get my finger out of the way. This is the tedious part, but it's okay. This is the time-consuming part. All right, so we have that. So we're going to go ahead and attach these on the tops in the center. So when you start to see what we're doing, I think it will start to come together. So let's, let me get my hands out of the way. And we'll put one here. And I try to line these up too so that they're even. And then after we do this, then we're going to come back and attempt to try to give it some depth around these little pieces here. So are y'all able to see that? Because when I look in the camera, it doesn't look like you can see much other than it's dark. So I'll pull it up. Are you able? Woo! Are you able to see that right there? Okay. All right, so let's continue with this. So now y'all can send chocolate cards to people. And this is I probably should have put that one down because that's, you know how you cut it and the edges are a little bit rough, but that's okay because that means that this chocolate, I did that on all 3 of these, but that's all right. Okay, so there is our little chocolate to make it look like our dimension of chocolate. Okay, so now we're going to take, I'm just going to take the bone folder, and I'm just going to just come on the edges, or you can use your thumbnail. I just want to come around the edges and just try to do a little, right on the edge, just to try to give it a little bit of, make it look like it's, got some, and probably easier with your finger or thumbnail, just to go along the edge there and try to get that done, okay? So I'm just going to let that part go. It takes a little bit of time to do that. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and put tear and tape right here. So when we close up our box, and we're going to put some right here down at the bottom because we don't want our card to fall out of the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and add that now. And we'll go ahead and attach our tear and tape here. So have y'all done any shopping in the new shopping store? What do you think about it? Do you like it? I've gone in there a couple of times. I like it how you can search for stuff by just typing in like the first name of something, and it brings everything up that has that name. So I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and pull this off, and we're going to at least put this piece. We're going to fold this up so that we can then start on the next piece. Okay. So this is our card holder, if you will. This is our candy bar. Now, doesn't this make you just want to run out and get some chocolate? So, I love chocolate. I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, I could still do it today, but I don't. But when I was younger and skinny and danced all the time, I could eat chocolate. And I would literally sit at night, and I would have like, and I'm just going to fold this over. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. I would literally go through Hershey Kisses or those little Hershey miniature bars or whatever, and I literally would have a stack of wrappers on the side table next to where I was sitting. Can you believe that? Nowadays, I could do the same thing, but I can't eat like that. Okay, so there's our bar. So we're going to push him aside for just a minute. Okay, now we're going to bring in the paper trimmer again and our designer series paper. This is the Tidings, what did I say it's called? Tidings, Plaid Tidings. And this is our 6x6. And I thought this was a cute piece. Now this is black, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm still going with the chocolate. And then this is Cajun Craze. And I'm not sure what color. What do y'all think this color is? Is that just a different shade of Cajun Craze, do you think? Or do you think, I don't think it's cinnamon cider. It might be just because it's different, but see, I don't know. But anyways, so we're going to take this piece. All right, so this is 6x6. You want to cut this down to 4x6. All right, so we're going to cut this down to 4x6. And with it being plaid, it really doesn't matter which direction, right? So cut this down. Now keep this because we're going to use this as well. All right, so we've got a 4x6. And then we're going to take this and score this in half at 3 inches. All right, so we're going to move this to the 3-inch mark. You're getting the hang of it now. This is what we're going to wrap around. But because it was only 6 inches, this is going to be our flap that we're going to use to close it. Okay, so there is our center where we scored it at 3 inches. Now this piece here, this is 2 inches, right? So we want to cut this down to 1 inch by 4. So we're going to cut this to 1 inch and hold that down. We'll cut that by 1 inch, and then we're going to move this one out of the way. And then we're going to move this over here to the 4 inch, and we're going to cut this down to 4 inches. So this is a 1 by 4, all right? And then we're going to come back, and now, because it's 1 inch, we want it at a 1/2 inch because this is going to be our we're going to add this flap so we can add it to wrap around the card. So we're going to take this piece, cut that one piece at 1 and 4, and then we're going to score it at a 1/2 inch. Okay? All right. So that's that piece. I'm going to set that there, and then these are extra pieces, so you can put those in wherever you want. You can put them on the inside of the card if you want, or what have you. All right, so here is that. Now we're going to fold this one over, and I'm going to go ahead and burnish this with my bone folder. Now I'm going to add some tear and tape to this as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to the bottom so you don't see it. But if you notice, I can line this up Let me turn around. Maybe it's this one. Because I got my, yep. So I can line it up so it looks like it, we don't even know the difference, right? So I'm going to put the tear and tape on this side here. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. And put a little piece right there. I guess I should have probably tore this before I try to lay it down, but I tried to do it in one piece, but then I look like I'm all thumbs. I got all sorts of issues. Okay, so we're going to put that there. I'm going to go ahead and attach it now, so that way we don't have to mess with this piece again. So let me go ahead and pull this off, and we'll add that on there. Get my scissor underneath, my little snips. I swear I use these things for everything. They're so handy. All right, and then that's our fold. So I'm just going to line this up to the fold and hopefully get it lined up straight and even with our lines next to each other. And I'm just going to leave a little bit of for bending purposes, you know, for when we fold it. All right, I think that's good. You can't even tell, can you? There we go. All right, so there adds our other piece, and that so we can fold our card. All right, so there's that. Now, let me think what I'm doing here. We've done that. Okay, now we're going to take, now this is going to be, I'm going to have this be my top because I want it to fold over this way, and then I'm going to flat fold this under and adhere it. Okay, so this is going to be my front, this is going to be my front piece. So what I'm going to do, this is a 1/2 inch, in case y'all didn't know. These, when you cut this, that's about a 1/2 inch. So we're going to tear this, okay? We're just going to tear it. Doesn't matter because this is going to be part of our wrapper, right? So we're going to tear about a 1/2 inch or so. So I'm just going to tear it around so it looks like we've opened our wrapper and give it that teared effect. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to tear it, okay? So there's our teared piece. And that's trash. All right. Then the next thing that we are going to do is, let me see here, cut, I'm looking at my instructions. Let's see, we tear it, cut a 1/2. Oh, okay. So what we're going to do now, this is the 3 inch mark, right? So about halfway, about the 1.5 mark, we're going to, which is right on that side, I'm going to put a little snip right here just because we're going to fold these down. So I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Because we're gonna fold these down like the wrapper. So we're gonna try to make it like you've opened the wrapper. So we're just gonna fold it down like that, okay? Now it looks like a shirt, but however you want to fold it, because it's gonna be covered up. And you need some tin foil. So that's something you have to have too. Some aluminum foil, tin foil, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just gonna fold my little guys down like that, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a 2x6 piece of tin foil, which I have, and I'm going to cut this down. Well, actually, I can just tear it, but let me cut it. So 2 inches, because I think this is 6. So I'll just cut, because we're going to use a piece of this for the top, and then we're going to use some for the bottom. And I'll show you what we're going to do. So we'll just, and you can tear this. It doesn't have to be perfect because actually, let me just cut it because I want to make sure I've got it enough to do what we need to do. All right, so these are, you want 2x6 inches, okay? So one of them we're going to do is we're going to place it here. That one's torn, so I'm going to put that on the inside, right? And you don't need this much. You can cut it off once you adhere it on here. So like I've got a little bit too much right there, so I'll just cut that down. So let me just cut that. And again, it doesn't have to be exact, all right? So I'm going to put some, I'm going to use my, I'm using snail, just to let you know. So I'm going to put snail. I'm not going to put it, yeah, I will put some there. So I'm just going to put it around this area just so that it will hold my aluminum foil. So I'm going to lay my aluminum foil right about like that on here, okay? And then all you're going to do is just bend it, just kind of make it, you can tear it in half, you know, if you want to make it torn in the center, like you've opened it, right? And then just squish it down. Just, you can just roll it up, make it look all scrunchy, pull it down. That's all you have to do. Just like a wrapper, you know, just like you're eating a chocolate wrapper. You got too much. And if that's too much, just cut off, you know, if it's too much aluminum foil for you to have on the card, then just, you know, take it off. Cut it off. All right, so that's what we're doing. That's going to be the top of our card. All right, isn't that cute? So far, so good. We can roll it up some so it doesn't look like it's, you know, so bad. We can kind of do it like this. Let's do it that way. All right. And you don't need to glue it down. It's going to stay like that. Now this piece we're going to put on the bottom because we want to show, you know, how you get paper. And then this is really way too big. So we just want to have a piece on the bottom to show, you know how when you have the wrapper around your paper, you got the silver sticking out the bottom? So that's what this is going to do. See, it's really an easy card once you get, but it's just a lot of little working pieces. Okay, so let me get back in the camera. Sorry about that, you guys. I get excited. All right, so we're just going to put a little bit here. And I'll just trim off what we don't need. Just trim that right there. And then this one, I'm just going to kind of fold it because this is the bottom. So I'm just going to kind of fold it up like that and scrunch it a little bit. So that's what you see, you know, at the end of the wrapper. Okay. So I just, you know, you can scrunch it down. You don't have to have a lot sticking out. And that might be too much. You probably could cut that down and just put a little bit, you know, a little bit less in there. All right. So there's our candy wrapper. That's what it's going to look like and then this is going to be adhered. Actually, what I'm going to do is, yeah, I guess I think I'm going to take this piece right off on the edge right here because this is what I need to, we're going to fold it. So I think I'm going to take that little piece right off so it doesn't get in the way. All right, I think that's good. All right, so that's going to be our wrapper. And then we can play with it once we get it on the card. All right. So the next thing that we want to do, and this is our flap. So we did the top and the bottom. So now we're going to go ahead and lay this on our card. And we're going to go ahead and adhere it. And I'm going to put some tear and tape on this as well. And the reason I'm doing the tear and tape, just because I just want it to hold tight so it doesn't come off. You could use your Stampin' Seal if you have that. I haven't ordered that yet. I did have some the regular seal, and I was having issues with it, and I got frustrated, so I thought, well, I'm going to wait and order some, and it might be in the order that I got today, but I was a little frustrated. I got to figure out what I'm doing wrong. I watched a video, but it still didn't seem like it was working. All right, so let me go ahead and pull this tape off, the backing. And then, if I can get my fingers on it, okay? All right, so we're going to wrap this. We're going to put this on here. Now, on my other card, depending on how you want it, I did bring it down just a little bit and left a little bit of a gap at the bottom just so it fits. And then I want to fold this in first, and sometimes with this being a little bit, so I'm going to bring that over like that, and I'm leaving a little bit there, so that's fine. And then I'm going to pull this over, and so hang on a second. Now this is a little bit, so let me bring it over here so I can get it on there. There we go. And then this one, I'm just going to have, sometimes you have to just pull a little bit more because it's going to be the thickness. Oh, you know what I did? I didn't squish. Let me squish that down. Okay. All right, so let's just get this paper. We're gonna squash the card underneath and make sure that it's all, there we go. All right, and then we're gonna pull this down, get my fingers unstuck, and put that on there and close up our card. And there is our chocolate. Now you can bring this down if you want to tear the center part right here so that you can squish it up some more, and the wrapper. I mean, that's what it's supposed to look like, right? Okay, so there is our card. I think I'm going to do the same thing. I think I'm going to tear this just a little bit so I can get it to move. Kind of cover up those little things. All right, so there's our card. All right, so I think that's pretty cool looking. What do you think? Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to take some ribbon, and I hope I have enough of this, my faux trim. I'm going to take the faux trim of the ribbon, and I'm going to wrap it around just to the front, and we're putting we're going to use some punches, so I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap because you're not going to see it, so I'm just going to glue this down. So I'm going to put some adhesive. I think I'll do it right where this white mark is, so I'm just going to put some adhesive right there and right there. And, whoops, pull some over here. Hang on a minute. All right, so we're going to get that, and I'm just kind of using that little white line as my mark, and then pull that over there. So that will be kind of, we're going to dress up our wrapper so it looks, you know, you're not going to see this this here. And I think I'm going to do both because I think the cinnamon cider. Yeah, I don't think that looks as good. So we're just going to go with this one. So this is that faux suede trim, I should say. And I'm just going to pull a little bit in there. Let me cut that. All right. And so, all right. Okay. And again, I'm just going to use this white line right here, and I'm going to put some adhesive there. All right. So we're just going to attach that. Again, we're going to leave a little gap. Well, this one I cut a little bit too big, but that's all right. And then don't do what I did earlier. I went like that and cut the piece underneath. So, anyways. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take and cut, and I already punched them out. I'm using the Label Me Lovely punch, and I cut out a piece of Cajun Craze, and then I cut out a piece of cinnamon cider out of this punch here. Okay. That is the Label Me Lovely punch. And then we're going to use the Label Me Fancy when we do our sentiment. Okay. All right. I think that we're getting down to the wire here. Now, this one, I'm going to have it as a back. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to have it, which way do we want it to go? Do we want it to go like that? Yeah. So I'm going to cut this in half. And I know y'all have seen this trick. Just cut it in half, and then that makes it, gives us the effect that we've got another punch behind it, but we're just going to kind of break off the middle piece. So we're going to attach this guy. Let me add some more adhesive right here. So we're going to put the cinnamon cider on the top right there, and then I'm going to put some adhesive here and put some right there. And we're going to add this piece. I have to do it this way so I can see it, so I can line it up. And it just kind of gives it that effect. And we'll just place that right there. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to add that to the top of the card. Now I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. So let me find those are baby ones. We don't want those. Where is my dimensionals? Oh, here we go. We'll just use these. Let me cut them off. All right, so we'll just put some dimensionals on the back here. All right, so I'm just going to put 4, one in each corner. Okay, all right. So what we'll do is that's going to be attached like that. Okay, so that kind of dresses up. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll attach this, and then we'll stamp our sentiment, and then we'll work on the inside of the card as well. All right, so we're just going to peel these off. Y'all still hanging in there? Are you excited about this card? I am. All right, so we're just going to lay that right about there, and we can just move that. Okay. All right, so that's that. Now we're going to come in, and we're going to do our sentiment, and I am going to use, why did I bring the early espresso ink out? I don't know why I did, but we're going to use Cajun Craze. This is a color that I don't use that often. I'm glad that we've got some paper and stuff that we can use it with. This makes a great fall color. So I'll probably use that, maybe make some fall cards. Okay, so we are going to stamp our sentiment that says, "You make everything better." So I'm going to stamp that, and we're going to punch this out with our, let me put it right about here. Let me make sure I'm using the right one. Yeah, put that right about there. Hopefully I left enough room. Let me close this ink up, and then I'm going to pull in that other punch. And this is a really unique punch. Label Me Fancy. It does the little slit for you if you need that, and it's got that little dot. I'm not quite sure what that would be for, but I'm sure it's something. All right, we're going to put it in like here, and I'm going to leave some room at the top because we're going to put our chocolate at the top. And we're going to put that there, and let me look at this stamp set. Hang on one second. I want to see if there's a different saying. Today's make everything. You make everything better. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we punch that out, and then we're going to add this. Now I'm just going to lay this down flat. I'm not going to pop this up on dimensionals. I'll just use my snail since I got it sitting right here. And so we're going to lay this right about here. All right. And then I took the chocolate die cut. I die cut that out and used our, our adhesive paper on the back. Oh my gosh. That is so, I'm so glad they brought that back. I still am using stuff that I had from when we had it before. But I'm glad because when you're working with these little pieces, it's so much easier. And I know Denise, who's watching, she has one of those little fancy little machines that she used to bring to class. And I'm going to put this chocolate kind of like that. Whoopsie, I almost ripped his tea off. And that says, chocolate, you make everything better. All right, so that's that. Now, the last thing that we have to do is we have a piece of cardstock that is cut at 5 1/8 by 2 7/8. And I think I'm going to cut, nope, that one works fine. Okay, so it's 2 7/8 by 5 1/8, and this is going to be the inside of your card. Now I'm using, of course, we don't have hole punchers anymore, so I am using one of our old 1/8 of an inch, and all I'm going to do is punch I'm going to punch the hole for my ribbon to be a pull, and I'm just going to punch like 2 or 3 of them right inside of each other to make my hole a little bit bigger so that I can feed my ribbon through it, and no one's going to see this hole anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right, so I've got a big enough hole. And then I think I have enough of my suede. Oh, maybe I don't. Well, they got this thing. Look at that. Look at that. They taped one piece to the other. I guess they ran out. Can you see that? There's tape right there where they taped it. I guess one roll got short, so they figured they'd tape it. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and since I have all that, I guess I should have put this on my list to order, huh? No more of this tape ribbon. All right, so I'm just going to fold it over. We're going to make one of those little, like what you do with luggage. So I'm just going to push this through the hole and bring that up and around, and then I'll trim up the tails. Okay, let's see. All right, so we'll get that one pulled in. And then just pull it gently so we don't rip our hole here. Get that in there. You just got to kind of play with it. All right, so that'll be our pull, so they know they have to pull that out. So let's trim these up just a little bit. Oops, I guess it would help if I do it at an angle, huh? Okay, so there's our pull. Now you can decorate whatever you want on the inside, but I think since we're doing the chocolate, let's stick with the chocolate theme. That's why I brought the early espresso. Hello. We're going to stamp at the bottom. See? And can you believe I'm like really organized tonight? I'm probably going to jinx myself now because I'll probably screw something up. So, all right. So we're going to do our chocolate candies. Now this is where I struggle with trying to get these things lined up because this is a two-stepper here. So I think what I'm going to do on the inside of the card, I think I'm just going to do one at the bottom. Just one chocolate candy at the bottom. So I'm going to put it right about there. Okay. And then we will come back with our insert piece, and we'll, I think I'll stamp off so we can give it a little bit darker. So it's a little bit darker, a little bit lighter. And let me stamp off just a tad. All right, see if I can line this up. Let's see. And they make it easy for you, actually, because if you sit here, well, if you put it the right way, I always think those look like purse. Doesn't that look like a purse? I don't know why I think that, but anyways. Okay, so I'm just going to hover over this. This is the one thing I like about the photopolymer is you can actually see where your stamp should go, and that looks like I should have it right. So I'm just going to push down. We'll see. Ah, pretty good. All right, and I'm just going to leave that blank so that we can write our own sentiment. And then the next thing we've got to do is we're going to put that in here, and it's going to slide right on in. It's going to make me a liar out of me. There we go. And you may have to trim it up a little bit. And then there is our card. What do y'all think about that? Now this we probably should have done a different color. If we had Cajun Craze, that'd be great. I could have done this up here. That probably would have looked better, don't you think? Let's do that. Let's cut a piece of cinnamon cider because I think that dark is going to be too confusing with the dark chocolate. Let's take this off. Let's do the cinnamon. See, I'm going to hold you here till, look, it's 10 to 8. So we've done pretty good. I'm going to put this one through. Let's do that. That will probably make it look better. This kind of looks like a caramely color too, don't you think? Let's take that out of there. All right, so this is the last. I mean, there are sentiments that you can stamp inside, but I'm going to leave it blank, and then depending on who I send the card to, then I'll write my sentiment or stamp something in there. So make sure that you all share the video and leave a comment, and then your name will go into the comment picker. Well, if I can get this thing in the hole for next week, and then you'll get this card. So make sure you do that. Hang on a minute. Now I'm having thumb issues. Hang on. I know y'all are probably thinking, what in the wild world sports? There we go. If we get the corner in there, I can get it through and pull it. There we go. Okay, here we go. And I think this will look better. I think that early espresso, the faux was a little too close to the chocolate candy color. It was kind of a little misleading. There we go. I think that'll be better. Thank you, Cinnamon Cider. All right, so let's trim this old guy down a little bit. Trim him down a little bit. Tighten him up. There we go. I think that'll look much better. Plus, it will pull in the color from the front of the candy bar anyways. All right, so get in there. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks much better. Don't y'all? There you go. What do you think about that? Isn't that the cutest thing? Now, you can trim, you can play with this paper. If you want to tack that down, you can, or you can, maybe trim or tear some of this off so not so much is hanging down on the card. And you can just play with your, with the wrapper and do the back side to make it look all pretty as well. And actually, you don't even have to, you don't even need to tear the back if you don't want to. You could just have it torn in the front because you're eating out of the bag. So there you go. Chocolate, you make everything better. Isn't that a cute card? I hope you all enjoyed this. And I knew it was going to take me at least 45 minutes to go through this because of all the steps. Now, I went through and gave you all the dimensions. So if you didn't get them all, you'll have to just go back and watch again. But hopefully you had enough stuff that you could write down. But anyways, thanks again for spending Tuesday evening with me. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for sharing my video. And if you need anything and don't have a demonstrator, please reach out. I'll be more than happy to assist you. And if you would like to place an order through my online store, you can go to shallwestamp.com, and that will link you to my store. And here is the month shopping code. And if you place an order, then you'll get something in the mail from me at the end of the month or beginning of next month. All right, ladies and gents, thank you so much for stopping in and spending your Tuesday evening with me. I hope you enjoyed this card, and I will see you all next Tuesday. And again, if there's anything that you want to see me do or anything of that line, just shoot me a message through Messenger. All right, thanks again. Have a great evening.